Hello! Basically, this video is a recording, and it's my third or so many videos that I've done using my Dell webcam that I basically have into my laptop. And this one is going to be about a snooker with darts. Interesting combination of the two. Basically, because Peterborough, yes, Peterborough, was the host to the World Senior Snooker Championships. Now, it's a very interesting concept that snooker has devised. Barry Hearn has had this idea where he basically enables 16 of the best players of world snooker from the past to participate in basically what is a World Senior Snooker Championship. The idea is you have to be over 45. Now, Stephen Hendry's 42, and he'll probably be in there in a couple of years' time, possibly, because I've heard the sad news that Stephen Hendry is no longer in the top 16. The first time in around about 24 years or something like that, 22 years or whatever, he'd been ranked in the top 16. He's now fallen out of it, so that's a bit of a sad news to me because Stephen Hendry is a massive, massive, massive great snooker player, and I love Stephen Hendry to bits. He's actually my all-time favourite snooker player, so I'm a little bit sad to see him dropped out of there because I do like to admit that as a snooker player, I want him to see him win more tournaments, specifically the World Championship again. But yeah, it came to Peterborough. It's a very interesting concept that they did, and it had the format of the stop clock watch thing also in the game. In many of the games, they play 3 frames basically, so the chances of winning would be like 2-1. And or 2-0 maybe, and it's just interesting how they've done that, and it made me wonder that because it works well and people have liked it, Darren Morgan eventually winning it, but would it work in a situation of darts? Do you think darts would ever have the concept of doing a World Senior Darts Championship for the people that are old? In my opinion, it could work. It's a bit like the Legends of Darts League they had, where they had 7 former players playing against each other in a little league. And Keith Deller won the damn thing because he was that good. I mean, literally, he was that good. He actually won it. Oh, God. There's something on my laptop anyway. So, yeah, I just wondered if it would work. And it might do, but the only problem is, I do think that, not so much, I don't suppose, with snooker, but with darts, it might not work in a sense because some of the players that would participate in it are already currently on the circuit of darts. Now, would the PDC run it? Would the BDO run it? That's the problem that you would get. You get 2 darts organisations, or would they come together and be able to do it? If anything, the PDC might say that would be a good job for us to do, but the former players, some of them would be a part of the BDO, some of them would be a part of the PDC, and it would be like, could we ever agree on that? Would Bobby George like being in the BDO? Would he want to come back with, say, players like Eric Bristow and that, and compete in this new tournament? And I think the problem would also arise because I said it, a minute ago about basically that there are players that are still carrying on in the circuit. So if you can imagine what like Barry Hearn sits down and says, right, I've devised this World Seniors Darts Championship. Only that I want players that are over 45, but they have to really not be playing darts in there, because would it be fair that you would have players like, I don't know, Phil Taylor's like 51, Dennis Priestley's like 60, 61, and yet they're still playing on the circuit in the PDC. So could they actually take one away by playing in some World Seniors Championship? Because it would be like that, be like over 45, the players that are over 45. People like Rod Harrington and that, and Alan Warren and Little are the age. Again, they could be in there. Peter Everson could be in there, and many players that could be in there. You can have like 16 or 32 of the former players of the past coming into this tournament, but yet you're not looking at the ones that are no longer playing competitive darts as much as in the term of being a professional anymore. That's the problem. It would extend to that, most of that, because in the snooker one it was basically professional snooker players, they were not playing anymore, really, most of them. I think Steve Davis might still be, but it was mostly the players that are not really playing anymore. So generally, they were, and I know Jimmy White's still playing, but I just think that maybe it wouldn't be fair because they might say it should be about former players and not the ones that are still carrying on playing darts to a higher level. And specifically, we don't want a World Seniors Championship where Phil Taylor will compete because likelihood is he is going to actually wipe the floor with everybody else. Yeah, that's a problem. He would wipe the floor. He'd probably win the whole tournament and it would be like. But I don't know what you think. Do you think there should be a World Seniors Darts Championship where players that are over, say, 45 compete? 16 or 32 of the players of the past. There's many of them that are still around. Mike Gregg was still around. I'm sure he could play, and Dave Wickham and Cliff Lazarenko and Bob Anderson and John Lowe and Eric Bristow and all these great former players and Bobby George and people like, in my opinion, Bobby George being the greatest dart player never to win the World Championship. That's what I agree on that one. I agree on that one apart from James Wade today, obviously, but I do agree in terms of an old dart player. Bobby George is one of them, And I would leave on one thing, that if you ever get asked who's the greatest dart scorers in the history, Bobby George and Eric Bristow, in my opinion, are the greatest checkout scorers in darts. They know the checkouts like the back of their hand, I reckon. I reckon both of them are just absolutely extraordinary when it comes to that. They really know their game. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So it was interesting to see, as I said, snooker being held in Peterborough in the arena and have like the World Snooker Championship and their rules that they've done with stop clock and that. But halfway through the game, and it was just interesting. It was great to see snooker being held in this in this thing. So basically, just made me interested whether or not there would be an idea that darts are going to start inventing this World Senior Darts Championship. I would watch it though, because I watch all darts, but would it work? I don't know. You would have to give me your opinion. Anyway, I will leave it there, so bye for now.